Today we got Teen Killer turns math class into a massacre. Go online, comment, subscribe, grind, educate, journey to 1 mil. This might be a little touchy subject, so just a FYI warning ahead, so y'all know. We get started.
She was wearing a black cowboy hat, black jeans,
Like this
a
video,
black
by the
shirt,
way.
a black
Before I get it started, actually, let's like this video. Y'all do not do that. So go on. I'm gonna give you a time. Like this video. Give you a second to do it. And subscribe while you're at it. Subscribe and like this video. I'm gonna give you some time. Subscribe, motherfucker, and like the video. And if you don't like this video, go watch another one of my videos until you like one of them. And I'm pretty sure you'll like one of them, because there's so many videos that I'm doing that's a variety of content that there's something you're gonna like. I don't care. I know for a fact. So let's get it started. You might not like the way I speak, but you do like the video. So watch the video and watch me watch the video.
It's like I pictured myself doing it or something and never really pictured myself doing anything else.
What?
She was screaming, "Why did you shoot me? My arm, I can't feel my arm."
Aww.
He called us by name, set us in the back 2 rows, and to do what he asked, and nobody else would get shot.
I was going to be the hostage and
What
come over
the
and
fuck?
put the gun in your mouth.
There was a guy in the first row, and he got up and was holding his chest and walked clear across the room and finally fell.
In Moses
What
Lake,
the
Washington,
fuck?
on February 2nd, 1996.
Dang, 1996? Dang.
14-year-old student barged into his classroom fully armed, opening fire on his teacher and several students before holding his remaining classmates hostage. In the aftermath,
Damn,
the
that's fucked.
shooter's eerie resemblance to a fictional killer sparked a chilling question. Was this a calculated act of revenge, or a twisted attempt to bring a deadly fantasy to life?
It didn't seem like he had any real reason of doing this besides just to do something. He kept saying this is a lot better than algebra.
The following
What the fuck?
report is based on official police records, and the
Nah,
footage
that
has
guy's
never been
crazy.
seen before until now. On the afternoon of February 2nd, 1996, detectives with the Moses Lake Police
For it being 1996, the footage looks pretty nice.
Department
I mean, it
arrived
does
at
look
Frontier
obviously
Junior
choppy,
High
but it
School,
looks
where
pretty
a
good for
vicious attack
1996.
played out just a few hours earlier in Mrs. Kyrus's algebra class.
R.I.P. to Mrs. Kyrus, because we know she died.
Frontier Junior High. I'm standing at the southwest corner of the building next to the cafeteria. I will be walking towards the door of the building, the cafeteria area, and down the center hallway towards room 15. This is room number 15, the area where the incident took place.
Still reeling from a tragedy that would claim multiple lives, 2 survivors of the harrowing ordeal begin to share their accounts of what happened inside the classroom.
Could you tell me what period it was?
It was 5th period, but
Dang, she
our
was 15.
schedules were
That's
messed
great.
up, so it wasn't a normal 5th period time
Because of the bad winter we're having here?
because it's a 2-hour delay.
Okay, and what's the first thing that you noticed?
Just the loud shots is what got my attention because I was trying to do my algebra, and the loud shots, my ears were ringing, and I turned my head and I looked towards the direction of the shots or the loud noises, and I realized then that they were shots and that people were hurt because there were
Damn.
people. It just scattered,
R.I.P.
and they were holding their chests, and there was blood.
Okay, it was pretty panicky in there?
Yes.
Okay. When that happened from a person that was in the class or that it entered from the outside?
They entered from the outside.
Did he say anything when he was shooting?
Not while he was shooting.
Okay, but later
Yeah.
I take it he must have said some
He
things.
was yelling, "Get down."
The shooter would later be identified as 14-year-old Barry
14?
Lukaitis. Although most teachers acknowledged that he was somewhat asocial, they described him as highly intelligent, a
Wow.
model student, and a pleasure to have in class.
Wow, what the fuck?
The warning signs they missed would only come
Dead
in hindsight.
ass.
John Lane, a PE teacher, explains what happened next after the first shots rang out.
I was teaching room number 13, which is the room right next to the cafeteria. I heard some loud explosions was unable to determine what they were. I left my classroom at that time, went out in the hall, and tried to investigate.
When you first heard them, I mean, how many did it sound like?
There were several. I had 3 or 4, I guess. Again, I was so unaware, and I thought I didn't know what had exploded to cause that. Didn't suspect a gun, of course. As I was walking down the hallway, I heard some screaming, some kids screaming. I didn't know what had happened. I saw the door was closed. As I got there, I pushed open the door and saw the kids in various states on the floor. There were some in the desks. And as soon as I walked in the door, I noticed directly to my right in the corner someone standing there, very erect, and I detected a gun right away. As soon as I hit the deck and slid around there, I saw Mrs. Kyrus lying up against the front of the room and very ashen gray. Apparently, she looked dead to me at that time.
The classroom's teacher,
R.I.P. I told
49-year-old
you.
Leona Lee Kyrus, still grasped a marker and eraser in each hand as she lay
Damn, what?
on the floor. Several students were also shot, but Mr. Lane had yet to realize how many or how badly they were injured when he dove behind the teacher's desk for cover.
Oh, he got shot at?
At that time.
He was standing there with the gun, and like I say, I didn't take too long to look at him. I just noticed that there was a gun and there was someone standing there. He was dressed in dark colors.
He was wearing a black cowboy hat, black jeans, a black shirt, a black coat. It was a real long duster coat, black boots.
Dressed all in black?
Yes.
A witness would later describe seeing Barry as he walked toward the school earlier that morning. His black attire a sharp contrast to the white
walking
snow.
to the school and then
He
called
described
cops.
him as a tin soldier, walking with stiff legs and keeping his arms tight to his body. Just 3 days before the attack, his mother was with him as he purchased the long trench coat that later concealed the guns he carried.
Could you see him with a gun?
Yes.
Okay. And realizing that, and maybe I'm wrong here, that you're probably not real familiar with guns, was this a long firearm? Was this a short firearm?
It was a rifle.
Okay. And I apologize for that. Didn't mean to insult your intelligence. That's great. It was a rifle.
Yes.
How many times did he shoot? Do you know?
Mrs. Carter, he shot Mrs. Carter's once.
One time.
Dang.
He shot as many times as he hit. Like, I felt like he had shot before. He's handled a gun before.
Barry entered the classroom that day fully armed with his father's guns,
Damn,
a lever-action rifle,
that's
and
a
2
big-ass revolver.
handguns, including a revolver and semi-automatic pistol.
These are the 2 holsters in the boots taken from the suspect. The shells in the gun belt by the desk.
One student later compared his holsters to those worn by the protagonist in the film Natural Born Killers. Witnesses claimed it was one of Barry's favorite movies, with one recalling him saying it would be fun to go on a killing spree and get away with it, just like
What the hell?
characters in the movie. This unsettling connection to fictional killers would only deepen as investigators uncovered more details in the wake of the tragedy.
The guns laying on the desk. The first one appears to be a large caliber revolver. A large revolver.
Oh my god.
Known caliber at this point.
Can't even imagine
4
being
days
shot with that shit.
before the shooting, classmates recalled Barry asking if he could buy shotgun shells. When asked why,
Shotgun
he eerily
shells?
replied they would find out later.
What?
He told another classmate the shells were needed to kill 15 to 20 objects the size of a dog. He also questioned the power of a rifle compared to a shotgun.
30-30 with a live round
Oh my lord.
chamber.
That shit'll do some damage to your fucking skin.
Okay, can you show me the side of that, Paul? Is there a insignia on that? There it is.
It's a Winchester Model 94.
Yeah, just...
As Barry's classmate continued to recount her terror, she explained that Barry was no longer shooting, but still held the rifle in hand as Mr. Lane began talking to him.
He was asking, why did you do this and what does he want and does he want to talk about it, and for him to put the gun down and, just trying to persuade him that this was not the right thing to do.
Where were you? Were you on the floor?
Yes,
Okay. And there must have, was there other people on the floor at that time?
everyone was on the floor.
Okay.
There was a guy in the first row and he got up and was holding his chest and walked
Because he got shot.
across the room and finally fell.
Could you see the suspect or Mr. Lane?
Yes, I was behind a chair and there's slits in the chair, and from where I was sitting, I could see his face. He
Oh my
kept looking
God.
at me.
The suspect did? Okay. What was the suspect saying
Fuck
to Mr.
that guy.
Lane or to the rest of the class, if you know?
To be quiet and to do what he asks and nobody else would get shot.
Meanwhile, reports of shots fired at the junior high school reached local authorities, who urgently made their way to the scene. Inside the classroom, Barry began making demands.
He kept saying, Mr. Lane, stand up. I'm not going to hurt anybody. Stand up.
Nah, hell nah. You got me fucked up. I'm not standing up.
Shoot anybody else. He did say at one time, if you don't stand up, I'm going to shoot somebody, though. He did say that.
Was that directed at you?
Yes, he said if I wouldn't stand up, he was going to shoot one of the students. He said that one time.
Okay. Did you in fact stand up?
I kept telling him I was too afraid to stand up. And I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't able to. During one time when I was laying down, the gun did go off one time. And
What the fuck?
he said, oh, that's an accident.
According to witnesses, the stray bullet struck the ceiling, and Barry apologized to the class.
The fuck?
Number possibly of rounds which appear to be in the ceiling area.
Teachers and students would recall a change in Barry in the months preceding the attack. He became more withdrawn, unfriendly, and had notable changes in his handwriting. One teacher said it seemed as though something was bothering him. Many of Barry's
Why didn't
drawings
nobody say anything? What the fuck?
poems took on dark themes of
Oh my god.
murder and death. He
Y'all
began
didn't
making
say
alarming
nothing?
comments to people who would walk by, such as, "They don't deserve to live." Just 2 weeks before the shooting,
Oh my god. 2 weeks,
a
man. Y'all
student
could have
overheard Barry
stopped
say
it.
he would kill someone if they deserved it. Whether
know what, I'm
Barry
not gonna say
deliberately
that.
chose his
You
victims
don't know,
remained to be
but
seen. But soon, in
maybe
the
he had to have
interrogation
said
room,
something.
he would provide his own answer to this haunting question. For now,
I'm,
Mr.
I'm,
Lane
I'm
could
1001% sure all he wanted was to talk to someone. I'm not saying what he did was right, because fuck no. Fuck that guy. He deserves to burn in hell. But for sure he wanted to talk to somebody.
continued his account of what
I
happened
think
next.
I'm like 1001% sure somebody would have just went up to him and said, "Hey man, like what's really going on? Like I know I've been hearing this kind of crazy stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's come sit down, talk about it with them. Send some CPS to his home, investigate what's going on, take the guns away."
I finally felt that I
Come on,
had-
man.
Tell him why should people join us
Crazy.
on May 15th?
Well, if
He
you're
was
a
going
person
2
that's
weeks.
not
I had
It's
this
crazy that he was going 2 weeks saying all that stuff and nobody didn't say not one thing or brought it up to authorities or brought it up to a freaking counselor.
up and make something happen. He kept reassuring me that he wasn't going to shoot anybody, and wasn't going to shoot me, and it wasn't going to hurt anybody. What did he want at that point? I didn't. He said several times that he was going to explain later on why he was there and why he did what he did, but he didn't explain why he had done what he had done. As soon as I got up, we tried to get him to lay the gun down. He wouldn't do that, and at that time, I tried to direct his attention and my attention to the kids that were injured, and kind of surveying the scene. There was one student that was down, apparently dead.
R.I.P. man.
Another-
That's not right, bro. They came to learn. They didn't come to. Damn. Imagine that. Like, damn. Dropping your kid off. Like how you're supposed to going to school and then, damn, bro. Ooh. As a parent, that would kill me.
Student who kept saying that they were hurt. I'm
That
going
would
to
kill
pass out.
me.
I'm going to faint.
The girl,
That would kill me, bro. Damn, man.
she was hurt. She was screaming, "Why did you shoot me? My arm.
Aww.
I can't feel my arm." And she said, "Can I go? You let me go get an ambulance." And he let her go.
Oh, you let her go?
And there was another girl. She had diabetes or something. She had some kind of illness. He let her go.
As an officer
What?
finally arrived, he passed the shooting victim in the hallway, later identified as 13-year-old Natalie Hintz, telling her to run to the office where an ambulance would meet her. The girl who claimed to be struggling with diabetic issues came out next, and he urged her to get behind him. Mr. Kyrus, the school principal, attempted to enter his wife's classroom, but was
Aww. Damn, no. No. Oh man. Bro was a principal and his wife was the dude, my heart. Oh, my heart. What is no. Damn, bro. Oh, my heart would have been my. Ooh.
stopped as the officer explained he would only endanger the lives of the students inside. The officer
Damn.
called for more backup as the hostage
Damn.
situation inside the
Oh,
classroom grew
no.
more dire.
Did you remove, and the reason I'm asking,
Oh,
there's an amount of blood that's outside the classroom. You helped the female with the hurt arm, and another person who apparently was not shot but had some diabetic problems was allowed to leave. Anybody else
And
taken outside?
there's one other, and this was the student who, and I don't know who it was laying over in the far corner of the room away from Barry, having real difficulty breathing.
The one that walked across the room, he was laying on the floor and he was breathing. I mean, he'd take a really deep breath like every minute or so. I mean, it was
Bro, I was about to pass out.
pretty long between. He was like groaning and he was not responsive.
So Mr. Lane helped get him out?
Mr. Lane and 2 other students.
And did Mr. Lane have to ask permission for that?
Yes.
And that permission was granted by the suspect?
Not at first, no.
Okay.
They asked if they could get him out, and the suspect, Barry, he asked, how close to death was he? And
Damn, how close to death was he?
they said pretty close, and at first he said just let him lay there and die.
Oh,
Mr. Lane
bro's a little kid, bro.
kept persuading me. They kept saying, please let us get this child out. He needs help. And then he finally let him go.
I went back there and he was laying in quite a pool of blood. I couldn't handle him by himself, so Barry let me take another student, try to help him. Still couldn't get out with another student, so we got a third student, and finally we were able to get that victim out of the classroom.
As backup arrived, the door flew
R.I.P. man.
open, and Mr. Lane, along with 2 other students, pulled 14-year-old Arnold Arnie Fritz into the hallway, where 2 officers carried him to an ambulance. Both Arnie and Natalie were transported to the hospital, where their lives would hang in the balance. Inside the classroom, 2 shooting victims, Mrs. Kyrus and a young boy,
Oh, man.
lay motionless on the floor. With the remaining students still at gunpoint, Mr. Lane went back inside.
What is the suspect doing at this point?
Just standing in the corner, and what he said he was going to do, he was going to try to organize the room and get things done his way, and I guess let things progress kind of. And at that time, this time of the incident, one of the police officers started hollering at him and called him by name and tried to get Barry to talk to him. And the basic response from Barry was, I'll talk to you in 10 minutes after I've organized things, and then I'll let you know what's going on.
What was he organizing, John?
Well, what he did, he had some of
I
the
think he was gonna
kids
kill them.
move to the back of the classroom and sit in chairs in the back of the classroom.
We were all scattered around the room, and he called us by name and set us in the back 2 rows, going long ways across the back of the classroom.
One student would later tell investigators it seemed as though Barry was setting up a shooting gallery. As he continued calling their names, the police attempted to call Barry from the classroom phone. In response, he held it above his head and smashed it on the ground.
Oh, damn.
With the phone broken, they tried other methods to reach Barry, but this only seemed to aggravate him further.
How were they communicating with him? Just
Yelling.
Was the door closed at this time?
Door was closed. In fact, it was slightly open, and he said to close the door. He didn't want it open. He also said, "You're pissing me off. I'm going to get this taken care of," something like that.
They were yelling his name, Barry, and Barry was yelling back, and he kept saying that if they didn't quit yelling, he was going to start shooting us again.
Oh, no.
Because they were making him mad. He kept saying this is a lot better than algebra and stuff like that.
What Barry demanded next was nothing short of horrifying, sending the encounter spiraling toward a tense climax.
Barry got a large Ziploc bag out of his pocket and a rubber band and put the bag over his gun and put the rubber band around it and told Mr. Lane to put the end of the barrel into his mouth because he needed somehow to get out.
And at that time, he said, "Now we're going to take care of the hostage." And he said, "Mr. Lane, you're going to be the hostage."
Bro, why don't you overpower this fucking Portauda? Ooh, bah! Oh, man, I'm taking the chance. I don't give a fuck. You know? Shit. I'm like this. Okay, I'm ready. Ready? Oh, boom! Ooh, I'm jumping on him. Something.
Did in fact you go over to him when he said that?
I started to come to him, but again, earlier he had said, "Don't get too close," and so I wanted to maintain my distance because I didn't want to panic him.
Sure.
And then when he said I was going to be a hostage, and I came up to him a little bit, I was probably 3 to 4 feet away from him, and I said, "Barry, I don't want to do this. I'm too afraid." Tried to. I didn't want to do it.
Sure. What did he do
Well,
then?
who would want to do that?
Well, I guess that's when it came to conclusion. I felt that I had to do something.
Mr. Lane stood up
That's
and
right.
walked over towards him, got kind of close, and Barry kept saying, back up, and Mr. Lane would back up a little bit. And then the next thing I knew,
That's right, Mr. Lane!
Mr. Lane had him up against the
That's right, Mr. Lane! fucking go!
The weapon was a little bit higher and in front of him, so I kind of pinned that. I wanted to make sure that the hand wouldn't have trigger. If it would have.
Good shit, Mr. Lane. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I would have done, bro. Good shit, bro. Bro, instincts. For instance, I'm 1001% sure if you did not do that, bro, all of y'all would have died.
But I wanted it pointed out. I wanted it away from the kids, and I thought I could. And he really didn't offer all that much resistance. I'm sure my adrenaline was going too, but
W guy.
I thought I could take him.
He had the gun in one hand up against the wall, and they were struggling, and he was yelling for us to run out.
Respect! Respect! He said, run, run, run!
For the
I
classroom.
didn't care if he died. Mr. Lane's a hero.
Mr. Lane was?
Yes.
So Mr. Lane is the one that resolved this. He's the one that
Bro, he's a hero. Mr. Lane, you deserve a medal, bro.
everybody. So how long did this whole thing take place?
It was fairly quick, actually. It was about 5 or 10 minutes.
W,
And
Mr.
then
Lane.
When Mr. Lane
Mr. Lane, you're a W,
came up
man.
against the wall, what happened next?
I stood up from the shelf that was
You could have ran away. You could have just left. You could have left the school and called for help. But you stayed. Helped 2 students get help. Take down the shooter as well. Man, this teacher is
there.
up,
And
man.
Mr. Lane was
Not all heroes wear capes, y'all. Not all heroes wear capes.
and run, and just everybody ran out. I think I was the second person to run, second or third person to get out.
Students began pouring out of the classroom, and 4 officers rushed inside to witness the struggle between Mr. Lane and Barry over possession of the rifle.
W,
They
Mr.
quickly
Lane.
jumped in to help, disarming the suspect. With Barry finally in custody, they would soon be able to question the killer himself.
W,
As
Mr. Lane. You saved all those
he
students.
was taken away, one
Thought we're in
officer
that class.
raced to aid Mrs. Kyrus and the other fallen student, but he noted in his report that it was clear any efforts to resuscitate them would be useless. Before they turned to Barry, Mr. Lane and the young classmate shared their final thoughts.
Shout out, Mr. Lane.
It didn't seem like he had any real reason of doing this besides just to do something.
It was my impression that Barry.
I'm so happy, Mr. Lane, you did that, man. Because if you didn't do that, bro, you would have died.
Kid who was just a little strange, and quite frankly, it doesn't surprise me that he snapped.
As news of the shooting spread, a detective from the Seattle Police Department reached out to investigators, noting eerie similarities between the attack and a well-known book, an unsettling connection that will later be explored. With a classmate and teacher pronounced dead, as well as 2 injured students at the hospital, Barry was brought to the police station, determined to uncover what drove him to commit the brutal attack. Sergeant Ruffin with the Moses Lake Police Department began to question Barry.
Barry, how old are you? 14. Okay, so
It sounds so calm. What the fuck?
have you ever been in any trouble before at all? For anything? Just anything minor?
I got detention once when I was
Just minor stuff. Barry, I tell you what I'd like to do is that
Have my parents been notified?
Barry, I don't know. I'm not sure who your parents are. Have you called them?
No.
Okay, maybe that's something we can do here in a minute.
What Barry didn't know was that his mother entered the police station less than an hour before his interview began. Court
Oh,
documents argued Sergeant Ruffin knew full well Barry's mother was in a waiting room as he continued to question Barry without an adult present.
What I want to
Why? No. Don't tell me. Don't tell me Sergeant Ruffins fucked this case up and got Barry out because he didn't question him with his parent. Please don't tell me that. Because you guys do realize you're not supposed to be questioned at a police department without your parent or without a legal guardian if you're not over the age of 18, man. I hope this didn't happen.
is that I need for you to explain yourself, because if you don't,
Please
you're not going to get another
don't.
chance to explain yourself. Once I leave today,
Please don't do
that's
this.
it. I mean, because basically, then I've got to go do all that other stuff.
Explain what I did?
Well, I mean, where you coming from on this, buddy?
Oh, why?
Yeah, but to do that, I need to get the paperwork done, okay? And that's why we got to sit down for a couple minutes and just do paperwork, okay? Is that okay with you?
How long does it take?
Not very long at all.
Would I be able to have anybody else here besides the lawyer?
Who else would you like to
My
have?
parents?
Maybe. Right, if you want to do that,
I at least want to talk to them.
okay, if you want to do that, why don't we do that, and I'll see if I can get your parents here, okay?
After being read his Miranda rights, Barry formally acknowledged and waived them with his signature. Sergeant Ruffin continued questioning him about the incident.
Were you in school at all today?
You didn't go? No.
What happened after you went inside?
I don't know. I guess reflex took over, sort of. I don't know.
What?
I think I pictured myself doing it or something and never really pictured myself doing anything else.
Okay. Have you drank anything today? Any alcohol?
I don't drink.
Okay, good.
I don't do drugs and I do not smoke.
Okay. I don't think what I'm hearing is all true. And now those people up there that were injured, did those people do something to you? What have you been told? Well, I spent some time up there at the scene there, and I understand that you were pretty angry. And were you angry up there with those people? No, not at all. Okay. Did you know any of those people that were injured? I knew who they were. You didn't. I mean, not personally, right? Okay. One of them, but which
Damn,
person
that's fucked.
do you know up there, Barry? First one I shot.
Barry's first victim was the male student who died at the scene.
Damn, R.I.P. bro, Manuel.
14-year-old Manuel Vela Jr.
R.I.P. Manny.
According to witnesses, Manuel had teased him in the past, calling him names.
Oh no. Fuck. Manny, why, bro? Why? No, no. Oh, man. Oh.
This prompted threats from Barry, who was overheard whispering, "Do you treasure your life?" One classmate once heard Barry say, "Someday people are going to regret teasing me." It's
Oh my
important to note
God.
that these claims come from witness accounts, but there is no verifiable evidence to support that Manuel ever teased Barry.
Did you know the teacher?
Oh, okay, never mind.
That's your class, right? I didn't know her personally, but yeah. Okay, is she your math teacher? I'm sorry, is that a yes? Yeah. Yes. And do you know her name for me? Not her first name. Okay, her last name by chance? Kairos. Okay. Mrs. Kairos. Did Mrs. Kairos do
Wow.
anything to you? No.
However, witness statements suggest he may have harbored negative feelings for his teacher. Weeks before the shooting, Barry supposedly complained about her teaching methods, with one teacher saying the two had a personality conflict.
What?
One witness stated Mrs. Kairos gave him detention a week before the incident, after Barry put paper in the classroom heater. Another recalled Barry stating he wanted to kill Mrs. Kairos because she told him he had a wrong answer in class.
Okay, now the other people that got
What
hit, were
the
those
fuck?
accidentals, or were you trying to hit them? Or that was just kind of crazy then? That was kind of crazy. It might have been deliberate at myself. So the only two deliberate ones would be it was deliberate. The only two positively deliberate ones would be me. The only positive deliberate one would be me.
A search
Wow.
warrant was executed on Barry's house in the days following the attack.
Fuck you, Barry.
In
I
his
would've
room,
fucked
they
your ass
find
up
the
with
book
no gun, my boy. And with the one hand, my boy. Like, you all big and strong with the gun. Put that gun down. Let's throw some hands, my boy.
earlier
Squabble
mentioned
up.
by the Seattle detective. The novel, titled
Oh,
Rage,
bitch ass.
was published in 1977 by Stephen King under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. In a twisted parallel to real-life events, the book tells the story of a student who fatally shoots his algebra teacher, taking his classmates hostage and threatening to kill them should they fail to comply with his demands. According to the Stephen King website, the book was later removed from print due to the sensitive nature of its content.
Stephen
Another
King's a crazy ass guy.
notable book among Barry's collection is Gunslinger, the first volume in the Dark Tower series. The novel contains Western themes, with the main protagonist often depicted as wearing a trench coat and cowboy hat, wielding guns similar to those Barry used during his attack. Though Barry never admitted in his interview whether he drew inspiration from his favorite movies or books, his actions and the eerie parallels to the fictional killers are impossible to ignore.
That is weird.
What am I going to do after I'm out of here? Are they going to go back to the cell or what?
You know,
Or they need to ask me some more questions?
well, I think if you and I can clear this up, I mean, why, is there somebody in particular you wanted to do or somebody you want to talk to?
Well, I would kind of at least let my parents know what's going on,
Okay.
but I don't know if I want them here. And
Sure. And
Why the hell do you have so much 7-Up?
My promise on the deal here, if you want your parents here right now, I will get your parents.
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
but I don't.
All right.
At this point in the interview, Sergeant Ruffin was interrupted by another officer and briefly left the room. When he returned, he had news to share with Barry.
Barry, we have a little technicality here, and here's what this is that your mom apparently, and I haven't seen your mom, I don't even know if your mom's here, but apparently she called a lawyer, and the lawyer called down here, and the lawyer said that he wants me to
Oh,
stop by.
shit.
You. What are your feelings about that?
Well, I think it should be my business, but of course it's my mother.
Okay.
So.
All right. So what I'm going to do is, out of honor, I guess, for your mother and also the lawyer at this time, I'm going to stop the statement.
With that, the interview reached an end. An autopsy report would later determine that 49-year-old Leona Lee Kairos and 14-year-old Manuel Vela Jr. each
Because if they
died
didn't stop and they kept talking to him, that whole case would have been thrown out. I'm telling you that right now.
from single gunshot wounds. As for the two victims who went to the hospital following the attack, 14-year-old Arnold Arnie Fritz died shortly
I
after
told you, not to be rude, but I knew he was gonna. There was like no way he was gonna make it because he was there too long. R.I.P. Natalie probably didn't make it because she was able to walk herself. So she probably had enough
Rival
strength to
13-year-old Natalie Hintz
Yep.
ultimately survived after
I
undergoing
told you.
extensive surgery
my
and
God.
nearly losing her
Oh my God.
arm. Barry was arrested and booked into the Grant County Youth Center.
Damn, she almost lost her arm.
A motion was filed for a psychological evaluation to determine whether or not mental illness played a factor in the attack. It would
You sounded pretty normal right there.
later be
no way.
revealed that during the winter months when Barry became noticeably withdrawn, his parents were experiencing marital issues.
All of a fucking sudden. Come on, this is some bullshit. Nah, bro, I swear. If he gets out, if he's out right now, I want to round with this guy.
With his mother filing for divorce just 1 month before the attack. While multiple doctors agreed that Barry was experiencing depression, there was disagreement as to the extent. Barry's lawyers later filed a motion to suppress the statements made to Sergeant Ruffin
Yeah, I told you. I told you that it wasn't gonna. I know.
during his interrogation,
Yeah.
arguing that the sergeant had violated his
Yeah, he did violate his rights. He did.
rights.
Because he's 14 years old. You can't.
However, the trial court denied the
Oh, they
motion,
denied?
ruling that Washington law does not require parental consent.
Oh, really?
A juvenile waives their rights.
What? I didn't know that in Washington.
From
Okay.
August 15th to September 24th, 1997, Barry Lukaitis stood trial in court as an adult.
Oh,
and was
as an adult.
found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree aggravated murder, 1 count of second-degree murder,
See ya and never. You're getting life.
1 count of assault in
You're
the
getting
first
life.
degree, 1 count
You're
of
getting
assault in the
life.
second degree,
You're getting
and
life.
16 counts
And
of
it-
kidnapping,
Oh my God.
each with a firearm enhancement.
Oh yeah,
He
you're
was
getting life. Yep, I told you.
ordered to serve 2
Ooh, choose life sentence. Just in case you live and your soul wants to be out and about. Nah, bro, you gotta serve again. 2 life sentences.
consecutive life sentences without the possibility of
Woohoo!
parole.
Let's get
According
it.
to news outlet,
Bye bye.
in 2017, due to the Supreme Court ruling of 2012 that juveniles younger than 16
What? He's out.
not be sentenced to life without parole, Barry Lukaitis was resentenced to a total of 100
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
cannot be sentenced due to the Supreme
Oh,
Court
thank God.
ruling of 2012 that juveniles younger than 16 cannot be sentenced to life without parole. Barry Lukaitis was resentenced to a total of
Aha.
189
Aha. You thought you were gonna get out.
years in prison. We attempted to verify this information with the Grant County Court, and they were unsuccessful in locating his records.
Yo, if I see you on the streets, bro, it's on site. Don't like, come subscribe. Ground Journey to a Point.
Bye, have a great time.